was a very good rumba dancer. Rumba.
Is the skill still here?
No, the skill is actually there. The skill is there, except I can't practice now.
No.
Yes. Because of the corporate thing.
Stuff has moved.
And, the preacher. But if I gave it a chance, even here, if I did this.
There we go. It's still in there. The software is just inactive. Welcome to Nkwazi Unfiltered. My name is Kamiza Chukula and I'm privileged to be your host today. As always, we have Zambia's most interesting individuals who feature on this podcast. Today is no exception at all. We have a man who has an interesting knack for being a disruptor. He does things that are extremely audacious and sometimes even outright shocking, but he catches our attention. And once our attention is captured, he speaks. And when he speaks, we all listen. Now, this man I'm talking about is a man who wears many hats. He has literally risen from the ranks and lived out the dream of everyone who comes from a space of obscurity to a place where he has built himself up and has become a popular and undeniable brand in the Zambian speakers as well as entrepreneur space. Now, I did mention he's very audacious, but he's a man who also packs a punch. He's a chartered accountant, he is a holder of an MBA, and he's pursuing a PhD in a very interesting topic that we'll talk about a bit later. Ladies and gentlemen, we have waited long enough, and now the cat's out of the bag. Our guest today is none other than Dumisani Lingamangali Ncube. Welcome to Nkwazi Unfiltered, Dumisani.
No, glad to be here. Such an honor to be here.
Now, you have a unique name. Let's start there. What's in a name? Where did you get that name?
All right, great. So I was born Dumisani Ncube.
Right.
Dumisani being my first name, meaning praise. I'm the third born. But unfortunately, the second born died at birth. So I'm technically the second born. So when I was born, they said Dumisani, meaning praise, praise God.
Right.
So I was born Dumisani Ncube. But along the way, I seem to have been doing crazy things. Then I decided to call myself Lingamangali. So Lingamangali is a self-given name.
Right.
Which means don't be surprised. Just don't be surprised. Crazy things will be done. Don't be surprised. Yes.
And you've lived up to the name. And where were you born?
I was born down McKenney Road, close to Nampunde Mine.
Oh.
Maybe just to give context, I've had many people ask, are you really Zambian? Your names don't sound Zambian. How is it like? So if I was to give a rough idea of my background. So my great-grandfather was chased by Shaka. In the battle of Mfekeni. Was it Mfekeni?
Yes.
Yeah, how we call it, yeah. So he moved up to Zimbabwe. Then from there, my grandfather was born there. And then from there, he moved up towards Zambia.
Right.
And that was in the 1940s, getting almost the 1950s. So when he moved in, the siblings moved in too. Two other siblings.
Right.
So when he settled in Zambia, close to Nampunde Mine, he used to work for a white man.
Right.
As a farm manager.
Right.
When we were then drawing closer to independence, the white man decided to sell the land. So my grandfather called in the young brother. Right. They put their monies together and bought that land. So this land is a farm. It is a farm. But then something interesting happened that makes it look like a village. So my grandfather used to go to a church called Israel. So Israel, they go to church on Saturday.
Right.
Yes, they go to church on Saturday, but the pastors are allowed to marry a lot of wives. And for whatever reasons, almost all the pastors had many wives. So my grandfather was no exception.
Right.
So my grandfather had a couple of wives and a number of children where my father is.
Right.
So those were about 32.
32.
32. So I have direct 32 uncles and aunties.
Hey.
Then the young brother to my grandfather,
Right.
who contributed to the buying of the farm, was staying at the other side of the farm.
Right.
Then he understood the assignment even better. He had 54.
Hey.
Yes.
Okay, he took it personal. He took it very personal.
Then the other grandfather, who is the third one,
Right.
I think he missed the memo. He had less than 5. I don't know. He wasn't serious with life.
Was he not excommunicated?
So the interesting thing in that setup, I had over, almost 90 aunties and uncles,
Wow.
born of these 3 brothers.
Hey.
So as they were growing older, they decided then to marry. So then my grandfather, now let me say my grandparents would then say, you want to marry? Okay, now you stay there.
Right.
So this person would build their little hut there.
Close.
Then
so
marry.
keeping the community.
Yes, the
Right.
community. So in this community, then I technically roughly had, you see, about 90 aunties and uncles direct.
Yes.
Then when they married, so I had about double that
They
number.
double because they
Yes.
bring in an uncle and aunt.
Yes. And for whatever reasons, those that would even marry our aunties would also come.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, so we had about 150, aunties and uncles.
Wow.
Then our grandparents at this particular space, they were pastors. So meaning the church was made up of children and their children, meaning us.
I mean, you
grandchildren.
You
So it's a
quite
church.
congregation. That's already a
Good
massive
congregation.
congregation.
Yes. So now to answer your question, I was born in a village setup,
Right.
but at a farm.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Amazing. And in terms of school, where did you attend school? Was it homeschooling? Because this sounds like a very close-knit community where there's passing of knowledge from one generation to the next. Or did you go into a formal school setup?
All right, great. So luckily, at about the same time, there's a certain radio station called Radio Christian Voice.
Yes.
So it wasn't so far from our farm.
Right.
So one person decided to start a necessary arrangement. Then we joined in.
Right.
So at least we had an opportunity to start learning. I think it was like these missionaries who are just helping out community.
Right.
Then there was a community school that was then created just within our community. Just something very basic. Community school. Because remember, all of us, almost all of us, were born in thatched houses, except my grandfather who had the big house on top.
House. Yes.
But everyone else, it was thatched houses, doing what villagers do, herding goats, herding cattle and whatnot. Just a simple, basic village life.
Yeah.
So when this community school was created, it was just to address, the needs of the community.
Right.
It was a proper community school to a point that even learning itself, we learned in vernacular. We learned in Nyanja.
Right.
Yeah, including English itself. We learned it in Nyanja.
Definitely.
Yes,
Definitely.
yes.
And you had to figure it out.
True. Yeah, so that's where I then started from.
Right.
This community school. And I fared pretty well. And this is where the name, the Lingamangali name comes from. I think I discovered my special ability a little earlier. So when time comes to, back then they would call on a closing day. You see it, then now they're announcing number one. Yes.
That's it.
So for me, it was like, don't be surprised.
Yes,
I mean,
that's business
as
as
usual. You know. And what even made it very interesting was I was made to skip grade 6. Then go to grade 7, term 1.
To attempt your grade 7 exams.
Yes. But not just to attempt the grade 7. I literally skipped and got to grade 7, term 1. So when I got to grade 7, term 1, in a new grade, which was way higher than myself.
Correct.
I still passed number 1. So that is what cemented the name of Lingamangali. So, no, don't be surprised. I mean, number 1 is my...
This is my thing. This is
my
what
thing,
I do.
you know. So that's where, I was actually at the highest even in the final exam. That's what led me to Material Boys.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And when you got to Material Boys, I know for a fact you had already, I have it on good authority that you had already ventured into some form of business.
Okay.
From a tender age. Tell us about this entrepreneurial spirit that you just had in you from the get-go.
All right, great. So the first form of business arrangement was well-established at Material Boys, selling pamphlets. But looking back, I became an entrepreneur actually at the village. So here's something interesting. We loved dancing generally.
Yes.
At the village. So we used to have these South African dances, we being Debeles, so we are celebrated for that. But uniquely for me, I was a very good rumba dancer. Rumba.
Is the skill still here?
No, the skill is actually there. The skill is there, except I can't practice now.
No.
Yes. Because of the corporate thing.
The stuff has moved.
And, the preacher. But if I gave it a chance, even here, if I did this.
There we go. It's still in there. The software is just inactive.
The software is there. At some point, some were even calling me Kanda Bongo Man.
Yes. So with his fedora hat.
Yes. In the morning. Yeah. So, but that aside, I was a very good rumba dancer, So I'd be called upon to be a knife boy in weddings.
Yes.
So through that, I used to make a lot of money. There was no proper wedding, powerful wedding,
if you
that wouldn't have me as a knife boy.
Star attraction.
And the interesting thing, just from the village, I first got to Andrew's Motel in Lusaka because of that.
As a knife boy?
Yes. I was so good. And in fact, those at Material Boys would actually, attest to this. So I get there, term 1.
Yes.
At the closing day. So we used to have these events where, you
the variety shows.
Yes, variety shows. Like closing day, So guys, we are dancing on the stage. So they would get on the stage and people are clapping. I'm like, what sort of dancing is this? This is nothing.
Let me show you a thing. A thing or two.
So I held on there. I'm like, And there was a song called Sorola Bien.
Oh, yes.
Wenge, it should be Wenge BCBG. Yeah, I still remember Sorola Bien. I look at these guys who are dancing. I'm like, the prefix and all that. No, these are wasting a song. So just something pushed me. Like,
jumped on.
Go to the stage. When I just did one.
It was over.
Everyone stood. I did the dance. Good 2 minutes, and everyone was amazed.
Standing ovation.
From that, I was good friends with the prefects. Dancing actually opened doors. Whenever I was late, this boy who dances, this rumba boy. Yeah, so I think the first business that I would think of really was using my talent, dancing.
The hired dancer.
Yes. But when I got to Material Boys, coming from a humble background, the poor, the village kind of setup, poverty was normal. But when I got there, I realized that actually I was coming from a poor family.
Right.
Let me explain. So Material Boys is a very unique school. I don't know whether it is still. It's a mission school.
Yes.
So the school fees are very low.
Yes.
It being a mission school.
Correct.
But the cutoff point was very high.
Right.
So it was one of the few schools where you find the rich and the poor in the same school.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
So it was there that I then discovered that, actually, we come from a poor family. And just to even put it across, one of my classmates was the son to ZRA Commissioner General. Yes. So... And the other one, the father was the Brigadier General. So we had, the
gap was there.
Yes. Then you're coming from the village. So it is there that I discovered that actually I was coming from a poor family. And the interesting thing is that I realized that you may come from a poor family, but you can still perform.
That's right.
As good academically.
Yes.
So the interesting part is, it's there. there's a subject called technical drawing. I don't know whether it has changed names now. You know, you do lines and what.
TD.
I was very TD.
Yes.
I was very good at it. So I would then help some of my friends in technical drawing.
Right.
For a small fee. So I started making a little money. And then from that,
now you basically became a tutor.
Well, not really a tutor, but it was, you know, a way of making a little bit of money.
Quick buck.
Because, you know, you could do the lines quickly, then you just exchange the sheets.
That's it.
Then so it was, I made a bit of money from there. Then some were interested in my materials. I had a geography pamphlet, a very good geography pamphlet. So now,
Did you author the...
No. Actually, I did something interesting. It was bought for me by my father.
Right.
But it was very, very good. So what I wanted to do, what I decided to do was I had it retyped. Like retyped. Because, you know, when a pamphlet has been photocopied a couple of times, it doesn't look so neat, So I had it retyped so that, you know, it could be printed on a fresh
sheet.
Yes.
Right.
So that became the beginning of the business. So those who are interested, I'll tell them, you pay me, then I'll make copies, then deliver the following day.
Right.
Same price, actually. But what I did is I negotiated at City Market for a lower price.
Right.
So when they would pay me, I would go to City Market, make copies, then deliver the following day.
Right.
I think to me, when I interacted with those little profits, that marked the beginning of me as an entrepreneur.
Something happened.
Yeah.
And so the lessons learned from your ability to be able to find something that someone wants and figuring out that they're willing to pay for it, and then realizing that you can add a markup to be able to make a profit. How did that then translate into the entrepreneur we know today? Are those lessons still inherent in you?
Oh, yes. I think the key thing that I truly picked then on was just the thinking that I can use my brain to make money.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Just that. It settled and dawned on me that, I don't need much. I just need to use my brain and see what it is that I can do. Like take, for instance, the dancing. I didn't need to put in any money.
Right.
The thing for technical drawing, I didn't need to put in any money.
Right.
And for that particular one, again, I didn't need to put in any money really because they would pay. And
it was actually self-funding.
Self-funding, yes. So I think it's something that dawned on me that I do not necessarily need to search for financial capital for me to make it.
Right.
It was only later that thought was then cemented when I got to understand actually that a capital comes from the word, caput, which is a Latin word.
Right.
That means, head.
Right.
So long before capital had to do with money, land and whatnot, it had to do with ideas, the strategies.
Yes.
So I think it dawned on early at that point. So, and the thinking always was, how can I take advantage of what is obtaining here?
Right.
From the same pamphlets, I go to the village, opened a kiosk, just to address the needs of the community, selling simple, basic things.
Right.
Rice in packed sachets, beans, something very, very small.
Affordable for that particular community.
Yes. But then I did realize that business, again, was a bit tough because whenever we actually opened schools, people wouldn't account for my stock very well.
Right.
So then
it was hands-on.
It was hands-on. So again, it made me evolve rather.
Right.
Instead of just running a kiosk, I began trading in gods, buying and selling gods from deeper. Oh yes. Oh, it was a very interesting journey.
Wow.
So what I would do, I come from a village.
Yes.
But then I would have to go to the village.
Correct.
Because villages are in levels as well.
That's it.
So
that's it. So there's village and then there's village.
I
know.
So
I know what you mean.
Where I come from, then
yes.
there.
Yes.
Where I would go.
Yes. The village.
The village. So I would go buy, gods from the little profits that I'd actually gathered, buy gods to resell. Wow. And then I was still in secondary school. I'm just a 15-year-old. Then I realized that the villagers loved barter system.
Right.
So I would buy a bicycle, which was one of the needs for them.
Yes.
I'd buy a bicycle, Ego. So there was a brand called Ego.
Yes. From Chipata.
You know it.
Yes.
But why are you giving me vibes of a villager too?
Moving quickly along. Yes.
Yeah, so I'd get ego, exchange with 4 or 5 goats. Yeah, then I would walk with those goats.
Right.
It was a very interesting journey. I would leave home around 04:05, ride past Nampundwe mine to Shivyunji, exchange my bicycle with 4 or 5 goats. Then I'll tie goats next to the other, walk to my village. It's a journey that would take me maybe after exchanging maybe around 10 a.m.
Right.
I would be walking all through up to 1 a.m. the following morning. Oof. Yeah, it was a very interesting journey. And actually, that's where the spirit of hard work was cemented. Because from that, I learned to work hard, to push hard. And that is a discipline that has actually remained with me all through the years.
Now, you strike me as an incredibly confident individual. You mentioned something very interesting. When you're amongst your peers, you don't realize that you're deficient in terms of finances or that you come from a completely different class of individuals. Yeah. Then you move into an environment like you did at Matero, and you highlighted that you ran into some very affluent individuals. Yeah. Did that do anything to your confidence, or did that spur you on? What did that do for you?
Great. So, Matero Boys was a very interesting space. Coming from the village, very confident guy. I'm the top performer.
Yes.
I'm Lingamangali to begin with.
Do not be surprised.
Don't be surprised. Then I get to Matero Boys, day one. These guys are speaking English all the time. And they're speaking it so fast. No, I could not catch on.
For a translator.
And to make it worse, some of the teachers were white, and this brother Ray is swallowing words. Like, what is this? I remember at break time crying, like literally crying. What have I found myself?
Where is this place? Yes.
Yeah. But then, what then humbled me and made me realize that, okay, I'm not that bad, was when I saw, from the first taste, those little tastes, mathematics taste. I'm like, I grasp this, and this guy who speaks so well, it seems he's missing it. Yeah, I think I began becoming confident in my skin.
Right.
But still, confidence was a bit difficult to fully embrace because I struggled with stammering. I couldn't finish words. Yeah, I couldn't. In fact, I still stammer. I know people see me as this speaker and whatnot. I stammer. And if I'm to even give a secret, there are words, I've mastered my stammering to the point that I can tell as I start the sentence that I'll stammer there.
This word here.
This word.
Yes.
And there are certain words that I completely just avoid. Words like students.
Really?
Oh, it has just happened.
Oh my goodness.
So words like STU.
Yes.
I completely avoid them. So instead of saying students, I'll say pupils or learners.
There we go.
So I'll replace.
Okay.
So there are certain words I know. I start the sentence, I'll know that I'll stammer there. So stammering is still there, but it has taken a lot of work to master the words, to replace the words. And I just said, listen, I'm already born. I have this challenge. I need to deal with it. So I worked so hard to manage my speaking. So whenever I stand to speak, I replace a lot of words. There's a lot happening. I'm not like any other speaker.
No, just reading from the script.
Yes, it's a lot of work at the back of my head. So now to even share, here's a boy who is struggling with stammering. English spoken is very difficult for you. So I had that difficult takeoff. But over time, I managed to then balance off.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So this tells me a lot about your self-awareness, to be able to know where the hurdles are and figure out how to avoid them. And is this something that has developed over time, or did you just find yourself ready to take on the world? Because right now, like you rightly said, if you hadn't let the cat out of the bag that you actually have a stammering issue, no one would have known because we've never heard you stammer. Not once. And we sit there and say, wow, that's an eloquent speaker.
Oh, interesting. So really what has played a part is that I made a decision early on. I don't know what inspired me, but I made a decision that I just wanted to be great. And I always stood by the mantra that I am already born. Why not be great? So that stood by me.
Right.
Example, at the village, we had, limited inspiration. But even in our limited inspiration, I still felt that I could be something. So example, we used to play with these wire cars where you would use, bend wires and use mangish to tie them and whatnot. Yes, mangish. Yeah. So one time we are playing with my peers, and then I should have been maybe 10 or something, playing with my peers. Then one says, me, I want to be a truck driver, to drive that big truck, with 32 tires.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Because for us, that was a dream. 32 tires, so that when there's a wedding here, I can leave the trailer, I can come with the head.
Show you, the
for
horse.
the horse, Yeah. Then the other one said, no, for me, I don't want to be a truck driver, but I want to drive Trooper. So Trooper is under Isuzu.
Yes.
So now why Trooper? The neighboring farm, Radio Christian Voice, the farm manager, so they had a farm. The farm manager used to drive Trooper.
The Trooper, yes.
And
The
Isuzu
SUV.
The SUV.
Correct.
Now, so it was like the outmate for us. So this guy says, no, me, I just want to drive, the Trooper.
That's the one.
I can drive my boss. When I leave my boss, it remains mine.
Right.
And I said, but why can't you own the truck?
Own it. Oh, my goodness. Yes.
And why can't you be the boss to be driven? Then they said, you were Dumisani Chokap and boasting yako, meaning get out of here, you're just boastful.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. But for me, then on, the dream of just becoming great was already brewing and burning inside. Yeah. And whatever I dreamt of, I just felt like I wanted to achieve.
Right.
I was just hungry.
Right.
And fast forward, truly, you see that with my journey, the time was 22, 23. I had gotten into transport business. I had my first truck, Mercedes-Benz Artego at 22 thereabout. Then the Volvo FS12, the truck and trailers at 23. So that came to pass.
Right.
And the other aspect, the Trooper thing, I've not had the privilege of being in a Trooper, but, the Range Rover and being driven in my Range Rover.
Right.
One thing leading to the other, it has made me realize that whatever I dream to do, it comes to pass.
Yes.
From the little things that I dreamt of were coming to pass, and it cemented the fact that whatever I dreamt to do would come to pass.
Right.
So to even cement your question, I would say I am very ambitious. Because of the many scores that I've had, I see nothing impossible. In fact, I am excited by things that are deemed impossible.
Right.
They fire me up. They give me the hunger to want to do so much more. And I think you would see from the Africa Must Think.
Exactly.
We are having a conference at the stadium. People would say, no, you can't have a conference
That's
at
audacious.
the stadium. Where are people going to sit? They'll sit where they sit when watching soccer.
Yes, only to come and learn.
Yes, no, that can't be done. People can't do that. I said, no, I'll do it.
Yes.
Then fast forward, we've had the biggest gathering in the entire world as of 2024, the biggest gathering of entrepreneurs in the entire world. So it is these things that I have seen achieved.
Correct.
That cement the fact that I can do anything. No, I want to walk from Congo to Zimbabwe. No, you can't. No, it is.
No.
Now, that is what I want to do. What people say can't be done. Those are the things that I would really want to do.
Something very interesting. I know in a rural setting, the standards that a person might set would be linked to that which they've seen in their environment. We are, of course, a result of the summation of what we've seen, the people we aspire to be. But you spoke about aspiring for greater than your peers. Your peers would have been contented at just driving for someone. You wanted to be driven. But was there one individual or a couple of individuals that you looked at, even in that rural setting, that you said to yourself, I want to be like them or even better?
I must indicate that it was quite difficult to have proper role models because at the village, the people we looked up to are people that had come to Lusaka.
Right.
Regardless of where you are in Lusaka. And most of the people that had left the village had come to places, to compounds like Kanyama and whatnot.
Right.
Those are people we looked up to. So when they come through in December at the village, they were our
Superstars.
celebrities. Yes, they were the superstars.
Right.
Regardless of where you are, the fact that you're in Lusaka, you are the
made
superstar.
it in the big city. Yes.
Yes. A little voice that hit my head was, I got a story. I don't know how true it was. Radio Christian Voice.
Right.
That's where we saw, okay, so context. From our village, the neighboring farm,
Right.
just one in between was Christian Voice. Now at Christian Voice, it's a radio station.
Yes.
Then they had a farm.
Correct.
So that's where we had, the whole development really so huge. So if you wanted to be inspired, you'd see people who were working at Radio Christian Voice, the farm managers and whatnot.
Right.
So those worked as a litmus in a way to say, oh, there are people who are living this kind of life.
Right.
So like the radio DJs, those are people we looked up to. In fact, it was light years ahead.
Yeah.
But there was a story that the owner of Radio Christian Voice was just a businessman from the UK who decided to just invest and help communities.
Correct.
It's like there's a rich man and whatnot. So for me, that stuck in to say this is a human being. But maybe I could as well be that rich man. So this is a man, I didn't know his name, but it was just a story that stuck on to say, maybe you can rise. Maybe you can be that businessman. Maybe you can be that powerful. So I was inspired by a person who I did not know. And in fact, up to now, I should take interest now to know who that person is.
Lord Bob Edmonston.
Oh, you know him?
I got to meet him last year.
Is it?
We share inspiration from the same individual.
At least you know the name of the person. I didn't know the name.
I made it a point to go and meet him. And I was amazed. I walk over and I greet him, Lord Edmondson. And he says, call me Bob. I was like, okay, this is humbling.
Interesting.
Yes.
So that is the man that I looked up to. I just heard a story that there's a man who's funding everything.
Yes.
Yeah, so he's from there. I'm like, wait, wouldn't it be nice to be that? So I think if I said I looked up to someone, I didn't know his name. I just knew his story.
The story was enough.
The story was
fuel
enough.
You.
At least I saw the results.
Yes.
I saw Radio Christian Voice. And you know what? We used to leave our village at 04 to go request for transport that side to come to Lusaka. Whenever. Yeah. So I felt the attachment. In fact, the people that were working that side, be it guards, garden boys from the village, we looked up to them because those are the salary. They were making money every month.
Yes.
They were earning something. Now, the guards and the garden boys, we looked up to them. Now, knowing that there is the one who owns everything, in fact, even the bosses, there's this person. I think to me, that man is an inspiration.
Yes.
And I'll take time to truly learn from you about him and possibly see if I could meet him.
Amazing.
While he's still alive, to say he changed the life and he has no idea.
Imagine that. That's impact. Now, that is serious impact. And in all these endeavors that you were doing, how did your siblings fit in? Did they help you out? Or was it classic sibling rivalry? The dreamer. Were you a Joseph?
The interesting part is that as siblings, and not just siblings, as young people, life is almost uniform.
Yes.
So when you look at young people, they look just about the same.
Right.
Being broke for them is normal. They're young.
True.
So they have similar uniforms and whatnot. And sometimes to tell who will become what and who will not become what is a bit difficult.
Right.
At that young age.
Yes.
So for me, the rivalry wasn't really there, except I was this confident guy. Because of stammering and not being able to express myself very well, was compensated by trying to brag about my ability to do well in school, dance well and whatnot. So it wasn't really felt then. So in terms of support, again,
Right.
I can't really point at anything in that regard.
Right.
But with my peers, the cousins now. Remember, the environment is an environment of cousins, brothers from
it's
somewhere.
one big family.
One big family.
Yes.
So I do remember one time running a kiosk. I was selling, like the carpenter, the fish in small sachets and whatnot. So there's something that people used to make fun of, which is called kasepa. It is not carpenter sardine, nor is it fish. So this kasepa is what the poor, who call the poor bosses, would buy.
Yes.
Just to put it to context, a meda of sardine,
Yes.
carpenter.
Proper carpenter.
Yes, would be 30 kwacha then.
Right.
Then a meda, same quantity of kasepa would be like 7 kwacha.
Oh, yes.
So people used to make fun of it. It was bitter, pricky, and
very
whatnot.
bitter. It was old people's food.
Yes. So one time, a conversation is happening amongst my peers. I decided to contribute. Then this guy just answered and blasted. Oh my
goodness.
Just get out of here. Continue selling kasepa.
Concentrate on selling your kasepa.
Yes, concentrate on selling.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So, and everybody laughed. That was so piercing, But a thought again hit me to say, this guy who said this, he has nothing of his own.
No.
I have something of my own, but he has the audacity to laugh at me. So I comforted myself knowing that I had something of my own.
Correct.
But I shouldn't kid that those little things made me a bit different from my peers.
Right.
And they were not so kind, towards me in terms of what they would say and what. I don't know whether it was out of jealous sometimes or what. I don't know, but they were never so kind. Yeah. So that was there indeed. But with my direct siblings, I think not so much.
Right.
Of course, except that the kids arrangement where you want to fight your brother and equals until one time. Oh, I've remembered. Yes, I thought I was powerful until one time. that sibling drama.
Yes.
Nothing, kids. Until one time my father said, no, too much of, how do you call kudededa?
You're picking on him.
Picking on your brother.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
You are picking on your, okay, fine, today you are going to fight. So my father
Old school discipline.
Yeah, so you two, we want to fight.
We'll know
we want
who's
to determine who is.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Then he had the shambok. So you fight. So he said, now fight. Now you're still dilly-dallying. I mean, on that day.
We're not ready.
But how so he whips me first. Fight, and whips him. Fight.
Motivation.
Because it's like, either way, I'm done.
Yes, now the rage kicks in.
Yeah. So my brother actually gave me a very good one.
He reminded you.
Yeah, no, he did remind me. And the last punch, led me to a very big bucket, because I was moving in reverse. Then I got into the bucket of water, and that was the end of that fight. And in fact, after that fight, I thought it was done, having been sorted out by my brother.
Exactly.
Then now I needed the proper discipline from my father. Now come. Yeah. To cement what
so that you would never try this nonsense again.
So he gave me a nice whipping, and that became the end. That is the only rivalry that I had with my brother.
Oh, yes.
And ever since then, no, we were good.
It usually fixes everything.
Is it?
Now there's a newfound respect for each other. Even where he went, I'm sure he said, okay, he's got something there. But there's an interesting story that I heard. You were robbed at one point. How did that happen, and how did that affect you? Was it a setback, or did it just catapult you forward into greater things?
Great. So the first robbing that I had, so remember from the pamphlets, kiosk, trading in goats, when I got done with my secondary education, I'm just about 17.
Right.
I embarked on a trip to Francistown to buy duvets and clothes.
Oh.
So I was then importing things from Botswana. Then later I began getting to Johannesburg.
Right.
And then I used to use the bus. And just to even put it to context, I was, very careful on how I spent. The route that would work cheaper.
Right.
Instead of going straight to Johannesburg, I used to pass through Botswana. So what I would do is that I would get on a bus here,
Right.
get to Kazungula, get on a bus to Francistown, then from Francistown, get on a train to Gaborone.
Right.
Gaborone, then connect to Johannesburg. Just to save 100 kwacha on transport, really. So
That
I had
is
to pass
profit.
through all
Yeah.
that. To me, that was
Let's not
profit.
eat into profit.
Yeah, so something very small. But then one time, so I would get to Johannesburg,
Right.
Park Station. Then what we would do, would then hang on by Park Station, just behind, and just hang on there. Then the following morning, then we'll do the buying. And I didn't even want to pay for accommodation, so I would be by the station.
Eesh.
Yes.
It's not a safe place, eh?
But something crazy happened. Zimbabwe had a meltdown.
Right.
So Zimbabweans flocked to South Africa.
Yes.
Then for whatever reasons, at that point, at the metro station in South Africa,
Right.
Which is just close to the bus station,
Correct.
they started taking out people. You can only be by the metro station if you have a ticket for
Valid
the
ticket.
train.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
So unknown to me, I get there, usual, Botswana, Intercape, then I'm in Johannesburg.
Right.
Then it is night, I just move behind Park Station by the train station area. Then around 01, these police officers, I don't know whether they are guards or what, so they come through to chase people who did not have the tickets.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So that's how we are chased from where it was secure. Go to where the combis are.
Oh.
Yeah. So the guy, for whatever reason, just some guy came through when we are now left in the cold. And in fact, some guy, funny thing, just said, no, come through, you pay me something, you sleep under the bridge here. Because at that point, you can't go anywhere. You can't go search for accommodation. You're stuck.
No.
So he said, come through, I'll protect you people under my bridge. Under the bridge? No. So I went on top where there are these small combis. Lo and behold, some guy just came through with a knife point, with a knife, and said, meaning give me some money for cigarettes.
Yes.
Yeah. So I said, Angila, I know a bit of Zulu. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I am Ndebele.
It's close.
Yes, it's very close. So he can communicate. I said, Angila. And I was even facing down. Then this guy, Haula! So I looked up to this guy. And this guy was actually scratching his nose here. As he was scratching with a knife. Actually.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah, subtle, very subtle messaging.
yeah, subtle, it's very clear.
I'm not pointing it at you. I'm just scratching my.
So I gave him what I had, Then when I gave him, he got more annoyed. Then the two friends also just came in.
Oh.
And it was very clear. And he said, listen, I'm going to stab you here. I'll get everything you have. And no one will do anything to me. So the guys got all the money, literally. And the little money that remained was in my inner pocket. Of course, it is not in your interest to find out which inner pocket.
Which inner.
Yeah, it's
being
okay.
being Zambian and wise, we know.
Yeah.
We know.
Wisdom. Here is where you apply wisdom.
Yes. The word searcher may be used. Searcher pockets.
So that's the little that remained. And it was enough for my transport back to Lusaka with a little change. So I decided to buy myself a white suit as a reminder that I was once a businessman. So that was the first big loss that I had. So as I got to face other losses all through my journey, that one cemented me psychologically that anything is possible in the space of entrepreneurship.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And now moving on to more recent business ventures, Glad Tidings Software.
Yeah.
First, the name says a lot. It puts a smile on your face.
Yeah.
But how did you dream up this dimension and this venture? Because up until now, what we're hearing is you were into trade.
Yeah.
But this, did you just wake up one day and say, software?
Oh, interesting. Actually, that is not even the recent one.
Really?
So Glad Tidings came in about the same period after that loss. My closest friend was at the University of Zambia.
Right.
He was studying computer science. So he was developing a package for his final year project to get a degree.
Right.
So he was developing something that would address challenges in schools like timetabling, accounting, enrollment, grade book, and something that would address that. So he was just developing it as his final year project.
Right.
Then another gentleman had gone to the University of Zambia as a mature. So he was a practicing teacher in Petauke then.
Right.
So he had a diploma, so he had gone to the University of Zambia to then get a degree.
Upskill, right.
Yes, upskill. Yeah, so now this gentleman was telling this friend the challenges faced in schools, like the same one, timetabling, accounting.
Right.
Then this guy was developing just for his final year project. So one time I'm interacting with this gentleman, my friend.
Yes.
He sends me from his phone a click on a button. I receive an SMS of my supposed child's result.
Oof.
Everything calculated, everything done, basic subjects, everything, like something very interesting.
Yes.
It is from there that the conversation of turning his final year project into a business started from.
Right.
So fast forward, we then formed a company, the three of us. Myself, the software guy,
Yes.
and the teacher. So the software guy is Mkelabai.
Right.
Very brilliant guy. In fact, he went on to graduate as the only graduate with a distinction degree in the whole School of Natural Sciences. Yeah, went on. Now he's a doctor. I think he loves his academic stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So, yes. So we formed a company together. And since he was a staunch Christian, I was, and the other one was, so we decided to give, the company Christian sounding name. So Glad Tidings Software Limited. That was the first company. So I just owned 30% of that.
Right.
Then the teacher had 30%. Then the software guy, since he was the owner of the idea of the project, he had 40%. But the interesting part is that I did run the business aspect. I was the money guy. I'm the one who brought in the marketing, the finances and whatnot in terms of sales.
Right.
So we had our specialties in as far as running this project was concerned. So this is what gave me the breakthrough. Then from this, I was then able to get into transport.
Right.
That's what helped me buy the first truck, Mercedes-Benz Atego, then the Mercedes-Benz trucks, the Volvo FS Trolls, yes, the big ones now.
Yes.
So it was from the software thing.
Right.
Then after the transport thing, I think I had a bit of difficulties with it. Making money, liquid cash, but managing the transport business. Now the transport was my own.
Right.
Glad Tidings was our business.
Yes.
So then from the transport, I then moved on to the tech business, which is DLN Technologies.
Yes.
Now that is the company that does the ID cards, the machines that help personalize your ATM cards.
Right.
When you get your ATM card now with your names on it, the machines that do that. Almost all the universities in Zambia use our machines to personalize, or the machines we supplied to issue ID cards.
Right.
And we've done huge projects in that space, in that niche market. We are the ones that actually, of course, this is public knowledge. We are the ones that have the contract of manufacturing your driving licenses in Zambia, to design and manufacture the driving licenses in Zambia. And we've done a couple of other huge projects.
Impressive.
So the journey, so this has been the journey. And of course, we've done even a bit more complex things like for those that fly, as you land at the airport, the Sennheiser equipment that communicates with the pilots.
Right.
So it is the same tech company that has actually been able to do that.
Oh, wow.
And we've done a couple of other huge projects with other businesses.
Right.
We've been in construction, we've been in media, and a couple of other things that we've done. But really, in terms of business, this has been the journey.
Amazing. Yeah. Now, one of your monikers or names is the radical entrepreneur. Is it possible for a person to be an entrepreneur if they're not radical?
Well, it is possible, but it depends on what you could then get to achieve as an entrepreneur. It's like, I've actually heard you speak, but you can be a mediocre speaker and you'd still call yourself speaker.
Right.
So
right.
can you be an entrepreneur without being radical? Yes, you can, but still the achievements would still be, just there.
Right.
I think there is need for one to be radical in the approach if you are to do anything meaningful as an entrepreneur and just in life generally. So the term radical, funny thing, my approach to entrepreneurship is radical and to life is radical. Let me give an example where the radical thing was actually cemented.
Right.
So many years back, that was 2010, 2011, when motorbikes were expensive in Zambia.
Yes.
And we had two major brands, Honda, Yamaha, and whatnot,
Suzuki.
Suzuki. Yes.
Correct.
Now, those were pretty expensive. Honda then was like 14,000, the cheapest. Of course, now they are way more. But then it was 14 was like a lot of money. Then Suzuki was more. It was like 24. Then Yamaha was like 36.
Right.
So I convinced one man to say, listen, you just give me 8,000. I can get you a motorbike. 8,000. But it won't be as big as these ones, but something small, but I'll get
It'll
you
be
one.
good.
Yes. But at that point, I'd heard that motorbikes are cheaper in Mozambique and they use a lot of motorbikes.
Oh, wow.
So this man, I convinced him to say, with 8,000, just pay me 5,000. Then when I deliver, you pay me the 3,000. So he gave me 5,000. I got on a bus here, got to a place called Katete, Eastern Province.
Yes.
Got on a taxi, got to a border called Chanida. From Chanida, got on a truck, went to a town in Mozambique called Tete.
Yes.
Getting that side, those guys speak Portuguese. Yes. The negotiation was on calculator, really. You calculate, they type in, and it was in Metcash.
Yes.
Type in, until when you are drawing closer to the point of agreement, it's like after typing,
almost.
Almost.
Okay, we're softening.
You're getting somewhere. Then finally, agreed at an amount, bought a motorbike. But since it was at a shop, so I had to be late to the warehouse where they had to assemble and whatnot.
Right.
Then the guy was assembling that side knew a bit of Nyanja. So we communicated. Then this guy told me that a liter of fuel takes you more than 100 kilometers.
Okay.
100 to 150 kilometers. Serious, 1 liter. I said, okay, this is interesting. Then my entrepreneurial mind, remember the saving arrangement.
That's it.
I'm like,
No,
wait,
okay, I don't need a
how many
truck.
kilometers? Yeah,
I see where this is going.
Yes, like, no. How many kilometers is it to? How many liters? I said, no. Here, putting this thing on a truck or bus will be more expensive.
We're wasting money here.
Yes, here you need to ride
Ride the
this
thing.
thing. But there's a problem. I'd never ridden a bike
Oh, wow.
in my entire life.
Okay.
But then I thought at the village we used to ride bicycles.
How
Now this
much
thing,
more
how can I
difficult?
fail? Yes. Now this one, I'm even seated. I'm not doing any manual work. This I can do. So you teach me. So how do you do this? So gear here, clutch here, brake here. I said, no, this I can do. How can I fail? Take me to the road leading to Zambia. So the guy took me to the road. We put full tank and a 5-liter container of fuel.
Back up.
I said, no, I'm going to Zambia. I learned riding a motorbike on my way back to Zambia. Changing up, changing down, learned along the way. After covering 204. And in fact, even along the way, I was like, we are the people.
Do not be surprised.
Do not be surprised, So, 204 kilometers, I see oil. The thing had gotten, messed up. No. I don't know whether it was a changing. I don't know, but just got messed up. And it was around 22.
Oh, dear.
Pulled on the side of the road. I could not repair anything. The thing was out. I could see the chains inside. Used the helmet as the pillow by the side of the road. Steered up in the sky. And I said, one day I'll share this story. At that point, there was no network. But then the noise in that bush was like the horror movie kind of noise, So I said, no, let me start walking towards Zambia. It is better to be walking than just to stay here.
Right.
Past midnight, a bus stopped. And then, when this little bus stopped, they loaded the motorbike on top of it with serious hastiness, like people were robbing a bank. Well, I don't know how they do it.
Like, let's go.
I've never done it.
Yes.
Yeah,
but
after that, then the guy said, listen, this is a park. there are wild animals here. You could have died and there could have been no trace at all. That's why there are no homes here. So that's how I got to the border. I was like, oh, God has preserved my
100%.
life. Yes. Go to the border, worked on it. But then I said, I won't ride no more. So put it on a truck, go to Lusaka, delivered it, and they paid me the balance. And I landed it at 4,800. I'll never forget this. And I had my profit. Yes.
Serious
I had my profit of 3,000 kwacha. So now this is just to indicate that my approach has been radical all through. There are many things that I've gotten onto in a very radical way.
Yes.
Say, no, this must be done. And I think it can be done. And there is no two ways about it.
Right.
We have to get this done. Yeah.
You mentioned a lot of things that you've done, and you still do quite a lot of things. How do you manage to juggle all of these business ventures? Because there are quite a few that you're engaged in now. You haven't locked yourself into one particular business. And it's almost as if you have a knack for figuring out where the next big thing is going to be and positioning yourself for it. How do you split your time to be sure that these are successful enterprises?
Oh, interesting. I think there's a principle that I've learned, which is the working in and working on the business. Now, whenever I get started with an enterprise, it is incumbent upon myself to truly be engulfed in it, work in, be involved in the moving of the pieces and whatnot, then see to it that I grow the enterprise to the point that it can stand on its own without me. Then at that point, I can work on it.
Right.
So as I'm doing a couple of things, my understanding is that I can work on a number of businesses, but I cannot work in a number of businesses.
Right.
So it is a point that every time I work in one business, then work on those other ones. Because when you are working on, you have now entrusted other people to run that particular enterprise.
Right.
But because you did work in that enterprise, you have a clear understanding of how that business runs. So to make follow-ups makes it a lot easier. To track progress makes it a lot easier because you were once in that business.
You knew it intimately.
I knew it inside out. Yes. So now to answer the question, I would say I could be working on a number of businesses.
Right.
I'm not working in a number of businesses because I have run them, I have an understanding, and now I've entrusted in others. And in fact, when they give a report, I can easily say, but how come? This is supposed to be. So like just looking at the numbers and being a chartered accountant, I have a way of seeing what someone could not easily see.
Right.
But coupled with the fact that I worked in, it makes it a lot easier for me to pick that out.
Africa must think. A lot of people, it was quite polarizing. Just Africa must think. So those who are the naysayers, as usual, said, so this fellow, he thinks we haven't been thinking. Who does he think he is? But for others, they sat up and said, we must think. Yeah, let's think about this. Yeah. And let's venture. And gratefully, I think we can safely say there are more who leaned in than those who wanted to stay on the outside throwing stones. What inspired Africa Must Think? And what is this mindset gap that you discovered that you felt needed to be filled by Africa Must Think?
I think as we are getting to the Africa Must Think aspect, I think there's something that maybe I may not have shared on, which really touched my heart and forced me to come out and begin sharing as a speaker and, the whole agenda of Africa Must Think. When I became a business person, I was a fairly successful business person outside social media. And in fact, just to even put it across, people see me speak. I had no intentions of being a speaker. I had no dream of being a speaker. Yeah, no. For me, I believed that I wanted to be a business person and become a very successful businessman.
Right.
That was my dream. And for those that know my story very well, long before social media, I had the whole trucks thing, the ones I was talking about, and driving the latest vehicles long before I was even on social media. In fact, I was of the belief that money, notes, don't make noise. Coins make a lot of noise. So I felt I was the one who wanted to be on the money side and not on the other side. But two things led me to this. The whole Africa Must Think and the whole speaking thing. When I got trucks, remember, I come from the village.
Yes.
So when they saw a 22, 23-year-old owning trucks, the thing was, where has he gotten money from? What is making him tick? And guess what? The first suspicion was that he must be...
the usual. Satanics.
Clear. He must be a satanist. And, you know, I'm saying this and I'm saying it live for a reason. Maybe someone might be impacted that way. Listen, those words were so painful. Very painful to a point that I even felt like it is okay to stop working so that I can be embraced by my people. And one time, I lost my paternal grandmother.
Right.
She died on a Wednesday, should be. And burial was set on a Monday, on a Sunday. But at the meeting in France on a Monday. So I needed to fly out on a Saturday. So I decided to contribute towards the funeral.
Right.
Like $500. Then it was like 5,000 kwacha. Now you are contributing that much where other grandchildren, remember we had so many.
That's right.
They are contributing 50 kwachas, like very small notes, you know?
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Then I put in so much. Then after putting in so much, this guy has gone. He's not even there at the burial. He's gone. Then I got to get a rumor afterwards to say, no, this guy, after giving all that money to finance the funeral, he went to meet, you know, the grandmother at the ocean. I was like, wait.
Oh my goodness.
You know, it was so painful at that point. Have you ever felt the pain where you're like, how I wish I could lose everything, then just be accepted
just so
by
I'm
my
back
community.
In the fold.
Yes, back in the fold and feel at home.
Right.
That thing was so painful, really painful. And I don't wish anyone to ever go through that.
Right, right.
That's one. Two, I get to, you know, France, Charles de Gaulle Airport.
Yes.
Landing there, the immigration lady asked me, so where are you from, Zambia? Of course, that was an upset question because she was already holding my passport. Yeah. So then the question was, so what are you here for? For a business meeting. From which company? You know, DLN Technologies. Who are you there? I'm the CEO. She looked at me with suspicion. I'm just a 24.
Come
you know,
on.
yeah.
It's not adding up.
It's not adding up. So she had all these requests. Where is the invitation letter? Showed her insurance and whatnot. Showed her. Then she requested for something that I did not have. That was the bank statements. I said, well, I don't have the bank statements. I saw no need to have the bank statements. And this lady was adamant. We end up in the hands of the supervisor. Then the supervisor requests for the bank statements. Then I tell the supervisor to say, you see, when you're at a university, you have a student number and an identity card.
That's right.
As you enter the lecture room, it is unreasonable for the lecturer to ask you for your acceptance letter, for your grade 12 results.
Exactly.
Why? Because by virtue of having a student number and an ID card,
it
shows that you pass through this process. You are holding on to my passport and there's the visa there.
Visa
Before
issued.
I got that issued. For me to get that visa in Zambia, it takes as long as 21 days sometimes to get that Schengen visa.
That's right.
So I passed through that process. I submitted the bank statements and anything else that you might request for. So I saw no need to move around with it. Then the man says, no, listen, I'll not take you in. I'll take you on the next available flight to Zambia. I said, you are deporting me. Then the man says, no, I'm not deporting you. I'm just sending you back. I said, no. What clicked in my head then was that this is how Zambians and Africans are ill-treated.
Correct.
Someone must fight against this.
That's right.
I said, you are going to court. Of course, I didn't know how to go about it. It was one of those threats that you give, you know, that I'll sue you and you don't even know how to sue. So I said, you are going to court. Luckily, they have a system that you can actually go to court.
Oh, yes.
So entered the paperwork and I was set to appear in court in 3 days' time. Now, I'm at the terminal, so I cannot be kept there. So I had to be taken to the Red Cross Center, put in a police vehicle, people with guns, one in front, one behind, and sirens are on, got that side, locked up. They got my phone, my laptop, and I was locked up there. Of course, the food was cool. It was good. Yeah,
that's the plus. Yeah,
you know,
look at the plus. Look at the silver lining.
You know, then I appeared in court for the very first time in my life. The judge looked at everything, said, one, he has an authentic visa. Number two, the money that he seems to be making in his country, because then I had the email of the bank statements.
That's right.
The money that he seems to be making in his country may not easily make it here. So he has no motivation to stay here. That's how I was released by the court. So if you looked at my passport, it was not even stamped because I was released from the courts into Paris.
Oh my goodness.
So that marked, so unfortunately, the meeting that I was supposed to attend, others are flying out.
Oh, I did pass.
And that's when I'm being released into
dear.
Paris. But a thought hit me. People from well-to-do countries, no questions. You are from stamp in,
welcome.
in. Yes, welcome, glad,
Smiling.
enjoy yourself. And what. But for me, I had to be subjected to that because I come from a third world country. Then a thought hit me to say, being successful alone is not enough. We need a number of us to be successful.
That's right.
If a number of us Zambians were successful, when we travel out there, you'll be respected.
Oh, they
They'll
know you. Oh, these are Zambians.
Zambians. I know Zambians, no, let them.
Yes.
They are not interested in moving here. They're already enjoying where they're
doing
coming
well.
from. Yes, because remember, a poor country is a collection of poor citizens.
That's it.
If the majority are poor, you're a poor country in simpler terms. So I decided that we needed more people to be successful. And at the same time, I realized that if more people are successful, no one will call the other a satanist because success will become normal.
That's it.
That's what led me into the public space. And I came out not even as a speaker. I just thought of sharing on social media practical lessons on how to become an entrepreneur. That led to more people, wanting to see me. Then that led to the first conference. Then as we moved on, I began pushing the agenda of Africa must think, how can a continent so rich be so poor? How can we, with all the resources we have, remain a begging continent?
True.
How can a country with over 40% of water bodies in Southern Africa still import food? How can a continent with over 60% of the world's arable land still import food? How can a continent with weather that allows you to, to farm all through the year?
That's right.
Import from food that have snow 6 months of the year. How do you explain those things? Then I realized that the biggest challenge we have is the mindset. So I thought, let us get Africans to think. We are not thinking right. Because there is no way, if we are thinking right, we could remain at the tail end, despite all the resources we have. It is our thinking that has taken us here. In fact, the poverty that we have is as a result of our thinking. In fact, I've even shared this to say, if we removed Zambians from Zambia today, yourself, Kamisa, myself, the president, everyone out, Zambia will be considered a very rich country. People will stand and say there's a rich country called Zambia. But the moment Zambians are brought back in Zambia, in fact, the moment it is announced that Zambians are back in Zambia, Zambia is instantly a third world country. It is instantly a poor country. Why? We, the people, are the poverty carriers. And this is the story across the continent. What is painful is that some people don't realize that we need to think. Some people don't realize that our thinking is too shallow. They don't realize that. And that is why the battle that I'm having is first to convince the people that you need to think, because they don't think that they are not thinking.
That's right.
So that has been the struggle. So the agenda I'm pushing is to truly rise a new generation who will take us to the next level.
Now, you have practical examples and practical lessons to share. A young entrepreneur who is at a crossroads and they're thinking, okay, do I invest in academics or do I invest in hands-on experience to grow? What would be your advice and why?
All right. So my take for any young person who still has an opportunity to go the academic route, I would highly encourage, get the formal education that you can get, get the diplomas or the degrees and whatever else that you can get if you have an opportunity. Because I'm a firm believer that education is the greatest equalizer. If you have an opportunity, get that. But as you get that, always remember that you can achieve so much more as an entrepreneur. So don't just be thinking of, a salary. Don't get the academic qualifications just with the hope of getting a salary. You can get the academic qualification, get this formal education. As you get that, you can also get informal education, reading books, financial books, and get the education. But as you get that education, position yourself to realize that you can achieve so much more as an entrepreneur.
Right.
And that is what has even made me, continue academically, because I realized that there was a mismatch. People thought that those that have failed academically, they are the ones that should go the route of entrepreneurship.
Right.
Then those that have gotten the academic qualifications, it is unreasonable to go the route of entrepreneurship. So the whole reason why I've gone on to, I'm a chartered accountant, master's in business administration, doing my PhD in innovation and entrepreneurship, and I have never been employed before.
Right.
The reason why I'm going through this academic route is for me to be able to explain to people, to say, listen, you can be educated formally and still be an entrepreneur. I'm a firm believer that you can combine the two.
Yes.
Well-educated and a very good entrepreneur. And in fact, it's a great combination, because if you have both, it allows you to run certain businesses. True. It is a fact that people who have no formal education, who can't speak English, who have those difficulties, there are certain businesses that they can't just run. Unfortunately, they are just incapacitated. Businesses like tech, it's rare that a person who has no formal education would run a tech business.
True.
The businesses that they would run are normally limited to trading, transport, like such businesses, maybe farming, and, like such businesses, because education has the way of limiting you. Then normally, if you've not gotten the formal education, it is difficult to run businesses that go beyond you. Right. Running boards, having boards. You won't even see the need. To convince you to have a board is a lot of work, because you don't have the education. So I still encourage people, get the formal education if you have an opportunity, but open your eyes to enterprising, because if you looked at all the millionaires, almost 80% of the millionaires as a result of enterprising. Right. Only 10% as a result of the corporate job. Right. So if you really want to be successful financially and impactful financially, I would highly recommend that you think of enterprising.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, there are hurdles in entrepreneurship and in business in general and in day-to-day transactions. Policy change would be the ideal scenario. But whilst policies are still being developed and are aligning, because we know they take a while, you're talking at two different wavelengths. Policymakers are seldom entrepreneurs, so they don't have a hands-on feel of what needs to be done. And while the entrepreneurs are lobbying for these policies to be made, the policymakers are saying, we'll get around to it. We have other things to deal with. How does a person overcome the challenges that are inherent in our economy and our environment in the short term while we wait for those policies that will be favorable for entrepreneurs?
My personal take is what you can't control, don't put it on your table as a point of discussion. See how you can fit in on that which you have control over. Because sometimes we find ourselves looking at things that we can't control, things that we have absolute, no control over, and say, no, if only this, if only that, if only we could do this and whatnot. As a result, you forgo the many things that you can do, which are within your control. And in terms of policy, and of course, I've shared this with our leaders at the beginning of this regime. In fact, even the previous one, there was a video, one time when I actually did shed tears, where I was sharing how, the government should be the best payer in terms of paying suppliers. Many governments, the previous one, even this one, in fact, even all the governments, they would try to push the agenda of entrepreneurship. No, you need to enterprise and whatnot. No, believe in the SME thing and whatnot. But I've stood and said, if you're pushing the agenda of building small, medium enterprises, bringing people to become entrepreneurs, do one thing right. Take care of those that have already shown that they can enterprise. Take care of those who they were able to come up with a profile, give a profile. They gave them the order. They supplied and they invoiced.
Right.
Pay those, because those have shown, instead of encouraging people to enterprise, let us sort out those that have shown that they can enterprise. And I stood and gave a suggestion, which I totally stand on. There is an improvement now, but this is a suggestion that I put up. If an entrepreneur supplies
Right.
the invoice and they are told that the payment will be done in 30 days, when the payment is not done in 30 days by that government agency, by that parastatal, by that organization,
Right.
which is controlled by the government,
Right.
30 days goes, 50 days, 60 days, it must be a disciplinary case for the controlling officer. Because if you've not paid the supplier, then that simply means you're crooked. You told the supplier that I'll pay you in 30 days, and that is what the order is saying. 60 days later, you have not paid the supplier, meaning you are crooked.
Right.
And we don't need such people because those people are retrogressive. So you can't have people fund you and you are not paying them for the works that they have actually been able to do. A number of entrepreneurs would have become great, lost their houses,
Right.
lost their businesses, lost so much because they supplied a government entity and they are not paid in time. My take is very simple. Any controlling officer
Right.
whose
Right.
organization issued an order and they've not paid in time, that controlling officer, it must begin by having the controlling officer fired. At least there must be some disciplinary, there must be consequences, because you can't have a case 6 months down the line, a supplier is not paid. 1 year down the line, you're still in the office, a supplier is not paid. Such should not be condoned. We have killed a lot of entrepreneurs. So when talking about policies,
Right.
of course, I've made such suggestions time and again, amongst many other things. But to the side of the entrepreneurs, I would say this: the things you have no control over,
Right.
see how you can manage it.
Right.
Example,
Navigate.
if there are certain organizations or agencies that do not pay on time, avoid them.
Right.
Or request for an upfront payment. It doesn't make sense to get an order supply in the name of having business when they won't pay you back. It doesn't make sense. Avoid those. Work with things that you have control
Right.
over.
Right.
Yeah.
Speaking of control, you showcased some serious self-control in walking from Congo DR all the way through to Zimbabwe. Now, I did mention earlier that you have mastered the art of disruption, because every single morning when we'd be doing school runs, the one thing we're waiting for is to hear how far has this man gone? And radio stations would call you and you'd have a conversation and give them a brief about how much distance you've covered. And social medias were buzzing. Social media pages and platforms were buzzing about what you're doing. What was that all about? I mean, what were you trying to prove? And do you think you achieved and accomplished your desired outcome?
Interesting. So walks have actually been part of history. Walks play a key role, which is to arrest attention.
Right.
Once attention is arrested, ideologies are communicated. So if you looked at the likes of Martin Luther in the civil rights movement, I remember the walk in Washington,
Million Man
D.C.
March.
Yes. Where over 200,000 people joined in. That walk played a pivotal role in the civil rights movement.
Right.
Mahatma Gandhi, the Soti Walk.
Yes.
Yes, the Soti Walk played a pivotal role. In fact, it is the walk that arrested the attention of the world and the single event that led to a large extent to the independence of India from Britain.
Correct.
Yeah, because walks arrest attention and ideologies are communicated. So when I embarked on the walk, because people have been asking, why walk? The walk is very simple. It arrests attention, then you communicate the ideology.
Right.
The reason I was walking was to awaken the Zambian people and the Africans to say, listen, we are the ones to make our continent great. Let us collaborate and unite. Let us introduce entrepreneurship at a young age. Let us enterprise. So it was me pushing what I have seen to be my purpose, which is the agenda of entrepreneurship. So it was very interesting, quite a journey, about 1,000 kilometers on foot for a cause. I think for me, if I'm to say it the other way around, I would say this cause of awakening Zambians and Africans is a cause that is so close to my heart. If I'm to even be radical about it, I would say it's a cause I'm willing to die for.
Right.
Kamiza, if I was given two options right now, and in fact, I could even say God is my witness. If I was given two options right now, to live up to the age of 90 or full age, and my country and continent remains the same way, how we are looked at, inferiorly, we are the beggars, we are the second-class citizens and whatnot, and to continue this way, but I live my whole life. Or if I was given an option to say, if I died today, then the trajectory of my continent will change instantly, will be equals. And our children and our children's children will stand on the world pedestal at the same level with others. Listen, I would give my life without any doubt, instantly. It's a cause I believe in.
Right.
So even as I walked, it was painful, blisters. In fact, even right now, if I remove my shoes, my toes still have blood clots.
Your nails are gone?
My nails,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Still have blood clots. It was a painful thing, but even as I moved through, for me it was, listen, I would want to see my people liberated mentally. We are enslaved mentally. So for me, it was a cause, the purpose, the reason for my existence. Even as I do this, Kamiza, the fighting is so real. And I've shared this, that instead of fighting for the cause for us to arise, I found myself in a space where, as I'm fighting for my people, the people I'm fighting for are also fighting
They're fighting
me.
you.
So instead of using two hands to fight for the cause, I have to use one hand and using the other hand to stop my people, from fighting me. So I'm not even as efficient as I should, because I have to do this. I have to keep fighting and really stopping my people from fighting me, because they'll say many things. No, he's not working. No, he's getting on the thing. No, he's... So there's all that. But I understand our reasoning is still at a certain level. For myself who's seen the light, and for those that have seen the light, it is our responsibility now to keep fighting with the hope that in future years, in future months, a number of people come on and realize that Africa needs to think, and we need a radical approach to this.
Isn't it interesting that life goes full circle and you still have people fighting you, and it takes you all the way back to someone saying, hey, just concentrate on selling your cassette. And yet now you're a full adult and you're still trying to do something. You're actually doing something about it. And then there's a person sitting on the sidelines, not doing anything, but still willing to just make fun of the activities that you're undertaking. Really interesting. But one question now, what leadership principle do you abide by? If there's one principle that you were to pick on, I'm sure there are plenty, but what's the one leadership principle that is your true north and that is your compass?
Great. In fact, I'll start with the comment that you're just indicating on. In the space of being fought, I should indicate that what comforts me is the fact that the people that have gone before me, who did exceptional things, who had a radical approach to life, were not understood at their time, during their time, by their peers. Many examples. He was arrested and charged, and he died in house arrest for a simple reason. He said the earth moves around the sun.
And no one believed that.
No one believed that. And that is what got him arrested. They did not understand him. Now, when I look at such, and yet he was right.
He was right.
He was right. So when I see such people who are not understood by their people, my understanding is that maybe those that might fight me now may not truly understand what I stand on. Maybe they have not taken time to dissect what I stand on and realize that what I really want is for the goodness of our country and our continent. So I totally understand them. Even the likes of Martin Luther. See the comments that were being written about him. The one who has even been given a whole day as a holiday.
Oh, yes.
You look at the things that were being written about him in his time. People didn't understand him.
No.
And in fact, I'm of a serious belief that if Martin Luther rose today, resurrected today, came back to life, and saw what we say about him, and the fact that even as a day, as a holiday, no, he would die back straight instantly out of shock, because he will not be able to fathom how him is being celebrated that way.
Hated, talked about, called this lunatic. Stay in your place.
Nelson Mandela was a terrorist. So at this time, he was not understood fully. Even Jesus Christ, by the way, for us who are Christians, who know that he was nailed and killed for a simple reason. He was not understood.
Misunderstood fully.
Misunderstood, yes. And when he, at the point of his death, he had just about 120 followers at that particular point.
Right.
But now it is in billions.
Exactly.
What am I putting across? There are people who may not understand me now, but I know that those that have caught on to what I'm trying to achieve,
right,
they have come in to support fully. And for others, it might take a bit of time. It is okay.
Right.
They will soon or later understand what it is that I stand on.
They will catch up.
They will catch up, yes. And we're not stopping.
No.
The journey continues, the train is on, and we are moving forward. Yes. Then coming to the question of leadership, my leadership style, I am a firm believer in leadership by delegation and not leadership by abdication.
Right.
So what I mean by that, in my leadership, I see to it that I do the best. I do the thinking. I totally understand where we want to take the organization, where I would want to get to. I do the hard stuff so that then when I bring people on, they are delegated to play parts of this vision. They can panel beat the vision, but I take a lot of time to get the direction very clear. And in as far as leadership is concerned, this is where a number of people sometimes get to miss it because they think, let me get experts, let me get people who are very skilled and whatnot to run this organization. But listen, if you do that, you are doing leadership by abdication. You are giving away the power and you are letting these people to do the thinking. At least the best you can do is that have a clear direction of where you want to go and position yourself for that.
You're a public figure, but you also have a personal life. How do you deal with commentary around your personal life as a public figure?
Interesting. When you're a public figure, you've come out in the public space and you are subjected to public scrutiny and you're subjected to the opinions of many people. So for me, I feel it is what you get to have as you get to the public space. So I'm not so much bothered. Of course, sometimes, it can get to you, but I've found myself in a space where I've just come to understand that you become some form of a public property, in a way. What you do, how you do it, and whatnot comes to a public discussion. So I totally get it.
Your journey has been one of incredible highs and lows and overcoming. What brings you the most sense of fulfillment when you look back at your journey so far?
When I look back at my journey so far, what gives me the highest fulfillment is seeing a number of people meet me and say interesting things like, because of you, I am this. Because of you, I'm running this enterprise. Because of what you said 6 years ago when you visited our church, I have now started doing this. To me, that gives me so much satisfaction. And I shouldn't kid that the earlier dream for me was to become wealthy, have money, drive the latest vehicles and whatnot. That was my dream. But having had the privilege, I've not yet gotten there, but, having had the privilege of driving, the Range Rovers and the latest vehicles and whatnot, and, setting up the first 3-story house with the helipad landing in Zambia, I have realized that wealth, money, and whatnot, the satisfaction it gives is so temporary. I think what really gives me the real satisfaction is the impact.
Right.
Yes. And the satisfaction I get from the impact is so fulfilling. I truly feel it, and it is so humbling. I get to the mall, people are celebrating you on how you have impacted them practically. I am doing this because of you.
Right.
To me, that gives me so much satisfaction. And in fact, I would even be so willing to let go of everything to even impact more people. I think that gives me a sense of living.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for giving us a glimpse into a part of your life that we did not know. Truly grateful for you having spent time with us on Nkwazi Unfiltered. We thank you so very much, Dumisani. Yet another exciting and uplifting episode of Nkwazi Unfiltered. We had a guest who has unpacked entrepreneurship in his own unique and radical style. Nkwazi Unfiltered is the one place that you need to be to catch all the very best of Zambia. Today's guest, Mr. Dumisani Lingamangali Ncube, has been absolutely incredible, and he's shared glimpses of his life that will impact us for many years to come. See you on the next episode.